Welcome to סדרת ספסל, פרק ראשון, ברכיים. Welcome to the show. I'm Jordan, and this is Lael. Let's fix your knees. Okay, first thing that we're doing, we're going to release the fascia of the feet. Take a ball, you can have a hard ball, or in this case, a tennis ball, and you're going to press your feet really, really hard into the ball. You want to do a circular motion in your whole foot. And if you feel a part that's a little more tight or hurts a little bit more, focus on that point, give it a little more attention, and squeeze hard. You can flex your foot and relax several times in order to get deeper. And we want to hold this position for at least 30 seconds. Feels nice? It's a good one. A lot of times if your feet gets too tense, it's going to limit your movement in the whole leg, and it's not going to let you use your other joints properly. By releasing the fascia in your foot, you're going to set yourself up for easier movement through your ankle, and this will allow you to move into all the other joints a lot more, better. 30. Left side. If you feel that one leg feels a little more tense than the other, or you know that you have issues on one leg more than the other, it's okay to focus on it and to give it a little more time. In this situation, you don't want to do more than 60 seconds to each foot to allow your foot some time to recover and for some blood flow to transfer into the foot. Sometimes by putting pressure on the feet, you can stop blood flow, and we don't want to hold that blood flow for too long. When taking the ball around your foot, you want to focus on 3 points. Right onto the heel, up to the small toe, and up to the big toe. And work in a triangular motion from these 3 points, and look for new places in between as you discover. Go in triangular motion, find the point that hurts, focus on it, and circle back to it. See that each round, you're releasing some tension, and you should feel better. ASMR. Yeah, next we're going to move on to the couch stretch. We're going to take 2 yoga bricks. One will go under your knee. If needed, the second one can go under the first foot, but this is dependent on the length of your legs. We want our knee to be at 90 degrees, and we want the hip to be at 90 degrees. Here you can see Lael's leg in the front is at 90, and so is the back. Your hips will be tucked under in a strong PPT. If you have trouble finding it, you can first go into an APT backwards, and then come PPT forward. Make sure that the leg that you're rested on, you're squeezing that butt really tight. If you're having trouble squeezing your butt in this position, it's because your psoas is too tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to lean forward with the upper body, more, bend at the hip, and then roll forward more. Squeeze, and then raise your chest back up. By bending over forward, you're going to release some tension in your psoas, and you're going to allow the glute to activate. A lot of times, if the psoas is too tight, you won't be able to activate your glutes in the back. By bending forward, you're going to release that tension, you're going to allow the glute to activate, and then you're going to raise your chest through that activated glute. It's important that your glute stays activated in this position, because if not, you're only going to be stretching your quads. And we want to make sure that we get into the hip flexors in the front and the psoas. We want to hold this position between 30 seconds to a minute. It depends on the level of pain that you're experiencing, and it depends on how long you can hold it. At least 30 seconds at a minimum, and up to a minute before we switch over to the next leg. Let's go on to the next leg. In this position, I want to try with a brick under the knee, but not under the foot, and see if we have a difference in feeling. So again, put the knee up on the back. Place your foot forward without the brick. Yes. Tilt back, roll your hips under, squeeze your butt, chest up. 45 seconds. Cheers. Feels nice. This is one of my favorite ones. Me too. I like it even better on the floor sometimes. Allows you to drag your hips forward and drive more. Let's try that. Roll your hips underneath and push. Yeah. Push forward, push forward. Good. Now another thing that you can do that can get you a little more activation is think about the front leg. Drive your front leg into the ground and make the motion as if you're dragging the floor to you with that front leg. Yeah. This is going to activate your hamstrings in the front leg, and it's going to give your hips more tension from both sides. If you're only pushing from your left glute, so you're only going to have activation on one side of your hip. By dragging the floor with the second leg, you're going to activate the hamstring and the glute on the second leg, and you're going to give your hips a lot more tension all throughout the motion. Another thing that you can do is that back leg can be driven into the ground. Too much? Oh yeah. Now in this version, we're going to get an extra stretch in the quad. We're going to take a band and wrap it around the ankle. Nalamtin. Now in this position, we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Knee on the ground, first leg forward, if necessary, a brick under the foot. The band in the back foot is going to wrap around your ankle, and you're going to pull it with your hands. You want to make sure that as you're pulling the band, you're still with a strong PPT, you're still squeezing your butt, and maintaining an upright position with your chest. You can do repetitions here where you're allowing your foot to get pulled up. Yeah. Hold it, squeeze, and then through your quad, you're going to drive your leg down into the ground and repeat this for up to 7 repetitions. Once again, like with our other exercises, we don't want to stay in this position too much over a minute. A minute is a nice mark to hold this tension, and if needed, we can always just repeat another set. A lot of times when people are stretching, there's a confusion between active stretch and a passive stretch. A lot of times in order to improve range, we need to be in an active stretching position. So by activating the quad through the band, it's teaching the muscle how to work in a bigger range. And it's not only stretching it, but it's actually strengthening it in a bigger range, which will help you with your pain. Most likely you're experiencing pain in your knees because the muscles are not used to working in an extended range. So whenever you put yourself in a position that the range is bigger, you experience pain because the muscle's just not used to working there. A lot of times we sit, and this is our position throughout the day. So whenever we put our leg in a position that is bigger than this or stretched forward, we're experiencing pain. This move will help ensure that you're going to strengthen the muscles in your leg and in your hip flexors and not experience that pain in your knee. Now we're going to work on an exercise that's, in my opinion, very underrated. 99 movement rotation of your hips. 90-90 rotation of the hips. Now, while going side to side, the goal here is not to just move your knees from side to side. The goal is to actively move your knees side to side. Meaning, when the right knee now is going to open up, the left one's going to stay down. We're going to try to open up the right knee as much as possible while keeping the left knee down. And at the point where it's not possible, we're going to let the right knee mobilize and go back down and touch the ground. We want to make sure that the left knee is staying on the ground and that your chest is upright and hands pressed into the ground. Try not to lean back too much. And if you're limited in the motion and you don't succeed in getting your knee down to the ground, that's a good thing, because that means that you're strengthening the internal rotation of your hip. We want to repeat this between 7 to 12 times, as much as you can take. Pay attention to your foot as well. Don't be so set on keeping your foot on the ground. Allow your ankle to move and focus on pushing your knee into the ground. You should feel a tight stretch inside your groin, and we want to make sure again that that second leg is working and pushing down. Now we're going to switch over to the next leg, but here's the trick. We're going to open up the knee, keep that knee down, and only allow the left knee to move as much as the right knee permits. Now we're going to place that right knee all the way down to the ground, squeeze into the ground, and then start to mobilize the left leg. You can see here the difference between the right and the left leg. When Leel did the left leg, he was able to keep his left leg down on the ground and the right knee was moving. Here in this position, each time the left leg goes to open, the right leg opens up. This indicates that he needs to work more on his left leg's internal rotation and a little bit on the external rotation of the right. We'll get to the external rotation soon. Keep your right knee down. Focus more on the right knee staying down. Again, push that right knee down, open up the left. Push, 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 push. There we go. Chest is up, pushing the hands down into the ground, staying active. 3 more reps, and then we'll go back to the other side. 1, push that right knee down. 2, 3. Switch. Now for an added challenge, we can elevate the leg. By elevating the leg, you're increasing the range of motion that you're training. A lot of times with pain, like I said before, it's just a matter of weakness in a certain range. So when you get into a position where you're in a range of motion that your hips cannot handle, the pain comes into your knee, into your ankle, into your foot, into your back. It runs away somewhere, and in most cases it's the knee. So by increasing the height of your foot, you're going to increase the range that you can reach with your hip, and this will allow us to strengthen the internal rotation even more. If you strengthen the functions of your hips, internal rotation, external rotation, flexion, and extension, then any motion that you do shouldn't cause you pain because you've already strengthened the leg in all of its ranges and all of its functions. Same protocol here, 7 to 12 reps, really focused. Now, before we saw that with this side, we're having a little issues with that right leg staying down. So here we want to put a lot of focus on what we're doing. You want to make sure that when you're doing the exercises that you're not just going through the motions. Although they look mundane and easy, you can make them way harder with the amount of effort that you put into them. By making sure that you're doing the exercises with full attention and with full effort, you're going to ensure your success, and this will give you strength that you need. If you just sit on the floor and move your knees side to side, it's not really going to help you because we don't want you just to move your knees. We want you to actively feel what you're doing. And then in situations where you're in a squat, in a deadlift, in a lunge, and there's a need for internal rotation, mostly when you're coming up, you'll feel that power and that ability to push in. And once you start to use that function in your movement, you're going to understand why your knee was hurting because you were never able to do that. If this movement is hard for you, you should focus on it. Don't move on to the brick until you can successfully finish the whole motion without. And there's our flow. See you on the episode 2.